Okay, we're here for 1702 Express review. Before we get started, does anybody have any questions that they have burning that they want to cover at some point during this? Yes.
Just routing their rec.queries.
Okay.
We actually haven't covered it, but it's something that we can check.
Okay, so dealing with queries and how to route them. All right. Anything else? Yeah.
Oh, I have a question about when you're dealing with like two params in a URI, and like I'm having this problem where I'm not even getting in, so I think I'm not referencing the URI right in the
Okay, so dealing with multiple params in URI, how to make sure you're hitting the right route. Is
Yeah.
that part of it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yes.
What is static middleware?
Cool. What is static middleware? Anything else? Cool. I'm sure if anything else comes up, just let me know and we'll jump into it. Okay, so here I am. I want to start an Express app. What is the first step?
Requiring stuff.
Okay.
Or no, sorry. First step, like we're naked.
Yeah, like we're going to mob code this from nothing.
Okay, we're gonna npm init.
All right, I like it. And I'm just going to take all of the defaults. Yay. Okay, cool. So we've got a package JSON. What else?
We start installing all the dependencies.
Okay, I'm going to do another step real quick. I'm going to, actually, I'm going to do my little thing here. This should, yeah, make this a good ignore. Okay, and then I'm going to hook it up to this remote. Okay. Oh, wait.
Is that a shortcut to add a good ignore?
That's just one that I made, so don't worry about it. Yeah, it's just an alias in my, here, I'll show you if you really want to see. This is not really germane, but that's okay. There's just this alias here I have to get in it and then copy the global get ignore into your local get ignore. Yeah. I'm just trying to get a little fancy with my scripts. Okay, so cool. So we have an empty repo. We've got a package JSON. We've got a get ignore to ignore the node modules. What should we do next? What do we want to install? Great, love it. Let's install Express. Anything else off the bat, or should we wait till we get to it? Body parser. Love it. Why do we want body parser? So we can have access to the rec.body, yes. What else? Anything else we want to do? Morgan? Let's do volleyball. Let's keep it in the full stack community. You guys use volleyball yet at all? I like volleyball. It's very similar to Morgan, but it gives you multiple lines per request. Anything else? I think it's a good start. What's that? Oh, cool. All right. Now what? So we're gonna start. We'll set up a really basic server, and then we'll kind of decide what we want to do with that server. So where do you want me to go next? Okay, let's create an app.js. Lovely. All right, we've got this beautiful app.js. What's first? Okay, so let's maybe say var express equals require express. Cool. So we want to build an app, yeah, and to do that we just, sorry, not require. We invoke express, which returns this instance to us. Cool. What now? Should we set up our sort of boilerplate to get everything working with those other things we installed? All right. What's that?
Listen to a port.
Okay, so let's listen to a port. Well, yeah, love it. Okay, cool. And something we can also do is we can give this a function to just say, I believe we can say, I think we can say app.address.port. Or we can just put 3,000 there. Why would this work? Any ideas? Why can we like access the app inside of itself? I actually don't know if we can or not. Let's see. Maybe not. Oh, app address is not a function. Thought it was.
How would it know what address it is?
I think the dot address. I'm trying to get too fancy here, so like we should just not waste any time on this really. But the I believe the dot address off of but maybe it's what's actually returned by dot listen. So maybe we say like our server equals this, and then I think maybe it's server dot address. Yeah, there we go. So app.listen returns actually like sort of this, I believe, the instance of the HTTP server, which app kind of like gloms onto. Express uses nodes underlying HTTP. So you can then use this method to get some information about the server that you're actually using. So you could say like listening on port, you know, you could do all sorts of fancy stuff like that. It's just one thing. It's not that important, but if you need to like export information about your app and get it somewhere else, like where is the actual port, you can always kind of like save a variable, export it, and then query it later on in your app if you need to like kind of find what port you're actually on or things like that. It's kind of gives you a little bit of access to the global server. Yeah.
What gets logged if you don't use the dot port?
Oh, it's going to be an object of some kind. I don't actually know. Yeah. There we go. Gives us kind of just a little bit more information about the server. Okay, cool. So we're listening. Should we? Yeah, let's set up that middleware that we installed. So how do we do that? App.use. And what does app.use do?
Fires on all requests.
Fires on anything that hits like the path that it's mounted on. But if we don't provide a path and just provide a callback as the first argument to app.use, it's going to use that for everything. So if we just do app.use volleyball, and I think we have to invoke it, but I forget. We don't have volleyball yet, do we? So let's take that.
Is there any use case difference between setting it as code or
Say that again?
is there any use case difference between just using const instead of
Yeah, so we're not, I'm going to try to, if I start doing ES6 stuff, please stop me because I just don't want to sort of muddy the waters right now. A const is just, you cannot reassign a const. You can mutate the thing that const refers to, so you could change the properties of an object that you define by const, but you cannot say const A equals foo and then say A equals something else. It will throw an error. Consts and let, which are the sort of ES6 versions of var, if you start using const and let, you never actually need to use a var anymore. And one other thing is that const and let are not function scoped by default, they are block scoped. So if you declare one inside an if statement, you do not have access to it outside that if statement. It's just, yeah, we don't need to worry about it too much right now. But you'll get more into those things as we go on. Okay, so we're using volleyball. Are we working here? Nice. Let's send a request, and let's just see. Let's just set a GET request to 3,000. Uh-oh. Oh, I think I have a space. There we go. Cool. So volleyball is working. We're getting logging down here. The difference between volleyball and Morgan, one is that Gabe wrote volleyball. But volleyball gives you a little hash for every single request. So that hash is then attached to the request and the response. And you also get to kind of see the time. I think Morgan also gives you the time between request and response, but it's just kind of nice. All right, cool. So we're using volleyball. What other middleware do we want to set up? Body parser? Okay, how do we use body parser? What's that? Body parser like that?
did you require it?
We didn't require it, so that's why our linter's getting mad at us. var body part. Let's give it. Okay, cool. So let's see. All right, I'm getting pretty tired of restarting the server all the time. What can I do about that? NodeMon? Okay, I could NodeMon. I could also write myself a little script to NodeMon. So let's do that. Should we make like a start script? All right. How do I get NodeMon to run? I think I have NodeMon universally installed, so I think we can avoid that step right now. But cool. Nice. All right. Wonderful. Cool. So is body parser going to work now? Let's see. Let's. Oh, okay. Interesting. What is it? .json? Like that? Body parcel? Okay. And then URL encoded. Okay, that looks good. And I think it throws a warning unless you say extended either true or false, and I don't actually even remember what the difference is between those two, but you can look in the docs. All right, cool. So we've got body parser running, we've got volleyball running, we can send requests, and we can get 404s back. Great. Okay, so what do we want to actually do with this server? Yes, question.
Real quick before we do that,
Yeah.
can you just restate the sentence you said with like why we do app.use? You said the word mount. I just want to know how to use that correctly.
Oh, that is a great question. Yeah. So let's bring up the Express docs, which are wonderful. All right. Let me zoom in a little bit. They're also responsive. Wonderful. Okay. So once we're in the application, let's talk about. Let's look at use. Yeah. So app.use takes a path, which is an optional argument, and then a callback of some kind. So if a path exists, that means that the middleware that you're using with app.use is mounted at a particular path. So for instance, what if I only wanted to use volleyball? I mean, I don't know why you would want to do this, but if we only wanted to use volleyball at /volleyball, then if we send Postman a request here, we don't log anything down here in the server's console, but if we go then to volleyball, we log volleyball. And if we go to volleyball and then something else, it's going to also run. And that's because anything this is sort of like where that middleware is mounted. So that means anything that matches volleyball or anything that comes after it in this case is also going to run that middleware. So Express kind of works with mounting a certain middleware, which means making it available at the path that you're giving it. And then within that, for instance, we could also do our own routes at volleyball or something like that with an Express router. Yes, question.
Just to get to like a basic of like what middleware is it basically like, I don't know, if you go, is it basically saying like if you go to a certain path, then trigger this?
Basically, yeah. So Express works as like a big queue, as a queue as in like data structure. So what happens when a request comes in to an Express server, it just says like it looks through your code to match with paths based on the URI. So here we hit this middleware, and that just means that like it's something that happens between. Okay, let me think. Okay, middleware is a generic term. It's not just something you use in Express, but it's something that goes in the middle between like your input and output. So in this case, the input is the HTTP request, and the output is the HTTP response. And so the middleware is everything that happens in between those two things happening. So Express is going to basically go through this big queue. We think about like kind of going through. It's going to say, does the path match here? Well, there's no path, and it's an app.use. So yes, we're going to fire volleyball. We're going to say we're going to log this request. We're going to say, yes, it matches this. Yes, it matches this. And then We don't actually match anything else. So by default, express kind of is wrapped in a big try catch, which is going to catch that it didn't match any paths actually, like that sent a response, and it's going to send a 404 response in this case. So middleware is just like all these functions that you put in the middle to intercept a request before a response is sent. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. Cool. So should we set up a route to do something? Yes, let's do it. Okay. So why don't we just set up a GET request and what on the root, and then what do we do next if we want to put some sort of callback function that's going to send a response?
Should we do the other part first,
What other part?
where we actually do set up the router?
So let's start out without a router.
Okay.
We don't need a router. A router is just a subset of Express, basically.
Okay.
So you can write your entire Express server in one file if you want to. Yeah, because everything you would have in router you have with app, which is
Right.
from Express getting invoked. Okay. So yeah, what kind of function, what kind of callback do we take when we match a path? Okay. And also next, right? Yeah, because let's just say like, oh, sorry, whoops. Okay, so let's just say we want to, whenever we get on the slash, we want to, let's just, well, yeah, what do we want to do?
Send hi.
Great, res.send hi. All right. Let's get rid of this. Yay! Wow, HTTP is fun. Okay, yes.
That's not Chrome, right?
This, you can use it as a window in Chrome because it's an Electron app, so it's usable in Chrome or as a desktop application. It's just Postman. It's in your first Express workshop. But you can, if you just look up Postman in Chrome, you can also run it as a Chrome window. Yeah. Cool. All right. So what is this server for? What do we actually want to send to clients to use? Like, is this like a puppy server? Or is it like a kitten server? Is it like a users and tasks server? Okay, it's a puppy server.
Great.
Cool. Okay, great. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, you can interpolate with backticks in ES6, or you could just do it with double quotes and then put a single quote, or you could escape the single quote. Yeah, there's a lot of options. Okay, so maybe I should get rid of that because it's kind of ES6y, but I'm going to leave it. All right, cool. So we're going to send a puppy. Why don't we make some like dummy puppy data? That puppies aren't dumb, but wow. So let's just like module.exports, and let's just have an array of puppies. How about that? And we're gonna have like name. What do we want the name to be? Okay, puppy 1, age 4, fave food, chow. Okay, and then let's make another puppy. I'm just gonna keep naming them puppy 1, 2, 3 unless you give me some names. Uncle Waltz. Kibble. I'm gonna go ahead and give these guys IDs too. All right. So this is our puppy data, and let's go ahead and import it in here. So we're gonna puppies equals require. How do I require something from the local file system? Not a node module. dot slash. Yeah, and that means what exactly? Yeah, from the current directory you're accessing this sort of thing, relative path. Cool. All right, so we've got these puppies. So why don't we just like send all the puppies back for now? Bless you. Bless you. All right, there's our puppies. Whoops. Cool. So maybe this is our sort of like get all puppies route. Does that make sense? All right, cool. Now, what else might we want to do with these puppies?
Want to return them? Oh no, add a new one.
Add a new one? Okay. So what kind of route would that be? Host? All right, I like it. So are we gonna do? Okay, we'll do it that. Maybe we should make this puppies just to be safe here. All right, so we'll post to puppies, and then we've got a function rec res next. All right, so what are we gonna do in here now? How's a puppy actually gonna get posted? You can just shout out because I'm recording on this microphone here. So
I'm gonna
capture the parameters.
that the user is submitting through some form or something.
Okay. So how do we think the user is going to send them? We can think of this just as a raw API right now. We don't even have to sort of think about forms
And then the URL itself.
in the URL. So it's like /puppies / like ID / names, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do it that way. It's kind of against the RESTful architecture, and we can talk a little bit about REST if you want to. We don't have to, but it's important. But you can look up REST later if you want. Did you talk about REST at all during
No,
it?
that's later.
Oh, really?
Could you just like briefly explain why
So
it
it's-
violates it?
It's REST is responsive to state transfer. So the idea is basically like you want endpoints in your API. This server is our API, right? So you want endpoints that one can sort of like track the flow through. And generally, you don't want to use URI params for like passing a big amount of information into something. You would either want that to be on the body of the request, or if it's maybe coming from like a form or something, as like a query string that could be parsed, which essentially gets Express turns it into an object at some point anyway. So that's why we might not want to do that in this case. There's more to REST than that, but I don't want to get bogged down in it at the moment. Okay, so what were the two ways I said we might want to send a puppy here? Body or queries? Yeah. Let's why don't we do body for now? Cool? Because we went to all this trouble of like putting this body parser stuff in here, so let's use it. Okay, so what should we say? Like var puppy equals rec dot body? Dot what?
Well, so if we need like a name or something,
A name?
something like some sort of identifier for the puppy that we want to add to the puppy
Oh, okay. Well, how are our puppies actually represented?
in objects.
Yeah.
You
Could
could send it as JSON.
send it as JSON. Yeah, if it's just, I mean, HTTP like doesn't know how to send JavaScript objects anyway. So what Express is doing at some point is it's taking this like serialized, basically JSON string probably, and putting it into a JavaScript object as the rec.body. So we kind of don't even like JSON is all like happening a little bit behind the scenes, but that's good. So we could just say that like we're going to send an object, which is going to be a new puppy. Does that sound reasonable? Cool. That sounds like pretty good like API design to me. So so we're gonna say puppy equals. Do we want it to be rec.body.puppy or just rec.body? This is a decision that you can make, right? Because you can add whatever parameters you want to an object. So okay, cool. We can make it be rec.body right now. And then what should we do next? How do we add a new puppy?
And send that puppy to the puppy module, to the add puppy module.
So in this case, this is like what our puppies actually is. Like the module is just this array here. I just put it in another file so it didn't clog it up too much. Yeah?
So are we going to like use SQL, or do we just not want to just put it in an array somewhere at the
Because your checkpoint is really only on Express right now, I'm kind of not going to touch SQL or SQLize or any of that stuff, if that's okay with you. Let's keep it simple for this one.
I feel like there's two different things. One is we could take puppies, which is all the puppies,
Mhm.
and then add, like literally just add an object to that.
Yeah?
Or we could have it so we could interact with puppies.js with like an add function. So we send it an object and it adds it to that.
Okay. But puppies.js is just an array. Yeah, we already have a function to do that.
Sure.
Yeah, so we can just do puppies.push puppy. That seems cool. And then what do we need to do at the end of any of these these request middleware? Yeah. So what do we want to send? So there's kind of two ways you could go about it. You know, you could just say like we could just send added a puppy. We could actually send that puppy back. You know, there's a lot of functions in JavaScript that will kind of like return the result of what they did. You know, so there's kind of different ways we could go about this. Anybody have a strong preference for what we should return here? What we should send back?
redirect puppies route?
Oh, you want to redirect and send all the puppies again? We could do that. All right, let's try it. Let's see what happens. That's right. More puppies, the better. Okay, so let's go ahead and send a post request, and we're going to. I think I could do it. All right, let's do it this way. I think I have to do a full JSON object here. Does that need to be a string too? JSON's weird.
JSON is weird.
I don't know. We'll see. It's going to throw an error if something's wrong, so that's the nice thing. Did it go totally off? It's back here. I don't know. I wonder what that does to the screen recording. Source. Yes. Uh-oh. All right, well, maybe I'm going to pause the screen recording and